All right. Good evening. So, if you've been present to the channel for a while, you'll know that I've been a little bit obsessed with the Atari lately. With Atari in general, um, I really wanted to do like a lot more with this by this time this year. Um, hmm, Hold on one sec here. I think where to start. Let's just start here. Okay. I had really wanted to do a lot more with this idea, this obsession of mine, um, by now, but I've just had the damn hardest time getting things put together. I had an Atari 2600 sitting in my basement. For the longest time, I inherited it from my grandma. Um, I never really did anything with it because for the longest time, it just didn't interest me. It fell beyond my purview of what I could consider enjoyable in a video game, you know? Um, and then I had this epiphany where I realized that these games actually had a lot more going for them than I previously had anticipated. And furthermore, I found to have a lot of respect for the 2600. Um, I was going to do a live demonstration of the 2600 because there's a lot of technical features that I don't believe can be properly demonstrated digitally. A lot of things that are going on with the analog TV and the game system interacting with an analog TV that the only way I could really show you beyond having you sit in a room with me physically is to record it and kind of hope that it transcribes the best way. Problem is the Atari is out of commission and I either have to replace it or fix it, and neither of those are particularly cheap options. So as of right now, honestly, I'm probably just going to replace. I'm probably just going to go get an Atari Junior. Um, but I haven't had a chance or means to go out and get that yet, so it's still on the back burner. Um, I plan to do a kind of a bigger discussion on a more specific topic to Atari in general, not necessarily a 2600, but it kind of pertains to it. Um, but I don't think I'm quite prepared for that either. And I wanted to look at a bunch of old catalog listings for 2600s in the 80s and 90s. Or just, Atari products in general to kind of illustrate what was going on back then and how common or how modern misconceptions aren't necessarily accurate to an extent. But again, I don't have that prepared yet. So what I do have tonight, in spite of everything, I have 10 Atari 2600 games that I wanted to take a nice, uh, deep, kind of in-depth examination of with you to persuade you in a way to maybe give the 2600 a shot, you know. Now, had this been 3, 4, 5 years ago, I would say that you wouldn't necessarily need to worry about getting the hardware and the games, just, emulate them. But unfortunately, as I'm finding out rapidly, things are deteriorating to the point where I don't know in another 2 years if we're going to have uh, ROMs available anymore, or we're going to have to sail the high seas to get them anymore, which, is fine for me and probably fine for most people who'll be watching this, but maybe not necessarily for a general audience, right? Um, So I will say that as old games are continuing to climb steeply because of scalpers, collectors, um, and anyone who just is kind of over the modern game uh, parameters, where you have to have an internet connection to do anything, or a service subscription, or not physically owning your games anymore. Instead, you're just owning a license to play the game. Um, the Atari 2600 remains to be affordable. Last I saw, they're still about $30, $40. That's not bad. If you can stomach a flashback, there are plug and plays out there that will generally get the job done. If you don't feel like trying to get a console and carts and controllers all put together. Um, the problem, there's a few problems that I'm trying to avoid, but I may accidentally step on this. That a lot of the games we're looking at today came in the later lifespan of the Atari 2600, when there wasn't a whole lot of demand for it at that point. We're talking mid to late 80s. And yes, the Atari 2600 was still around at that point. When the NES was coming out and the Master System was coming out, and the NEC PC engine was beginning to come out as well. Not many people were still playing this thing, so there weren't a lot of copies being sold. And then on top of that, around this same point, there was an attempt to kind of modernize the 2600 by giving it a peripheral that functionally allowed it to read cassette tapes. And there were some games on cassette tapes, and I can speak from experience because I find this interesting as all hell. The cartridge that allowed this cartridge adapter, is hard to find, and the cassettes are hard to find. And in those regards, I would say absolutely emulate those. They're probably going to work a lot better than trying to get those things right, unless you absolutely tickle pink by the prospect of owning a cassette player specifically for this, which I am. I'd love to do it, but damn if I'm not going to sink $100 into the whole affair. But I'm going to keep these conversations separate for another time. Another day, another time. We'll talk more in depth about all of that. So tonight we're just going to be looking at 10 games. Just 10, not 24, not 87, because there's about 477 games. I'm going to give you what I consider to be kind of the cream of the crop. The best of the best. The most fun, the most engaging, to kind of give you an idea that there is something more to this. And not to throw shade, and not to start drama, and not to do anything, because anyone watches this filth anyway. But if you're like me, you may have been given a preconception about the 2600, and that is unfortunately a preconception that is perpetuated by its own fan base. And what I mean by that is the Gen X, aging, older, middle-aged men, gray hair, balding beards, usually some kind of black t-shirt, who will sit here in front of a video, like if you're trying to do research on an Atari, you want to find out what it's about, who will sit in front of their massive game room catalog, their man cave cabinets of just all these fucking games that they've collected, these systems they have, and they will sit here and reminisce about 1981 and playing Pitfall with their friends, or Pac-Man or Missile Command coming out. and they will fixate on this collection of games that I've never particularly had a real fondness for. It really is a thing that if you didn't grow up with most of these games, I doubt you'd really get a lot out of them. So the things like Missile Command, Asteroid, I won't say Centipede, because I think Centipede on the 2600 is actually pretty good, but we're not going to talk about it tonight. Pitfall's a very good game and definitely deserves to be tried, but it's overrepresented, right? Pac-Man, overrepresented, and I honestly think the Pac-Man port on the 2600 is one of the weakest. And it's the same kind of thing that perpetuates the myth of like the video game crash of '83 and how E.T. was such a terrible game it caused Atari to go under, which is like, again, we're going to talk about this in depth, but the furthest thing from the truth. But it's because it's one group of people all saying one thing, suddenly that same message is going to be heard the loudest, and people who come looking for the 2600 to like look back in history may find themselves thinking, okay, there was only Missile Command, only Asteroid, only these kind of dull games that only really appeal to these aging middle-aged men, and I'm here to kind of combat that as a millennial who has grown up with a flashback, a little plug and play that I didn't have a whole lot of interest in, come around to the idea of the 2600. I think it is fun. I think it is enjoyable. And I hope that tonight I can persuade maybe one or two other people to try it as well. So we're going to take a look at the cartridge art, an advertisement, and the instruction manuals for each of these games, and then we're going to play, I don't know, 10 games for 20 minutes. That's still a long time. That's probably longer than I have. So we'll say 10 to 15. And I want to give each of these games a good college try, because another thing I've noticed about particularly the long plays and the playthroughs, people tend to get stuck in this, like, if a game doesn't have credits or an end sequence, it's like it cuts out early. You know what I mean? And like, you'll see these playthrough videos. Like, if you go look for an older game, sometimes they're only like 3 minutes long. So you say, oh, okay, that game is only 3 minutes. I will never play that game for more than 3 minutes. And that's not true at all. These games operate on a different logic, and much older kind of archaic logic of high scores. If you haven't really played many of those, because it's become vestigial to the point of being redundant. It's almost like your appendix at this point as far as video games are concerned. No one really has any kind of concern for scores or high scores or getting a high score. What you may not realize, though, is that high scores are actually more of an endurance kind of thing, right? The longer you go, the more time you put in, the better you get at it, the higher your score will go up, which makes it actually more challenging to beat your high score later. And so instead of dedicating 10 minutes to suddenly 20 to 30, then 30 to 40, and you keep doing that until you try and hit the point where you feel like you can go no further. That's what high scores are about. That it's a much more kind of long game mentality to it. Which, honestly, by the time we're playing most of these games, has gone by the wayside, which is probably one of the reasons why not a lot of people played these. You look at the Atari Lynx, and even you can argue the Atari Jaguar, both impressive systems, both very good, but by the end of it, the libraries of those systems were very much similar to the 2600. They were arcade games. They were games where you're trying to beat your high score, and by the early 80s, that was already an idea that was beginning to kind of become trite. And, I can't imagine what it was in the early 90s, 10 years after the fact. So that's why I kind of wanted to do a little bit longer of these playthroughs, just to kind of demonstrate. And also, we'll talk about some of the neat features that the 2600 uses to kind of vary and like change up the gameplay, because a lot of these cartridges, there was kind of like this acknowledgement that, like, yes, this is a simple play, like this simple loop, a simple game for a simple goal, but there are ways to change the difficulties. And there are even, because you can see like on this little image here, let me zoom it in if I can here on the 2600. Ooh, man, that's the wrong button. Hold on, stand by. No. Come on, OBS, work with me here. Oh. It's on the wrong thing, I think. The control? No. It's not control, it's Alt. There we go. Okay. Those four switches on the front of the system, 3 of those could actually be used in the game. Once the game was turned on, you would actually use those to change up things. Like, there's a really cool game called Space Shuttle that uses those as extra control, like buttons, extra inputs. There are also some single-player games that would require you to plug in a controller on the left and a controller on the right, and you would use one to play the game and the other to navigate the menus. There were games with menus. There's a game with a save function. I didn't even realize that till tonight. So there's a lot of complexity here. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on here. So anyway, that's enough rambling and ranting and raving. Let's go ahead and get into the games. And I believe, what did we pick here? Secret Quest is going to be the first one. And I'm not, you may sense a theme here, but I'm not actually going to be continuing this the entire night. Secret Quest. There it is. Now you say, okay, that's fairly generic. But I think Secret Quest is very, very interesting. Because it's a Zelda game. It's actually a Zelda game that I think predated Zelda. Let's go ahead and... Actually, how do I do this? I think I need a new window. If it'll let me capture Safari. Yes. No. That's not what I need. Well. There's a different one. I think I need browser, maybe? A second browser? No, that's not. Shit. How do I capture Microsoft Edge? See, the problem is I have these PDFs. Oh, wait, maybe I can open up. Hold on. What if I do this? Can I just capture the PDF in here? Yeah, okay. All right, cool. That is very hard for me to read. So I may actually have to go on the copy I've got to read with you. Let me make this bigger and center it and get rid of this gone awful gray here. Okay. How do we even... How do I advance the fucking pages? No? Oh no. Interact? Ah, here we go. Can I do double page? Okay. So the reason why we're going through the manuals is because every game uh, may or may not have a different way of adjusting itself. So we go look at the get started, playing the game. There's all the things, all the buttons. So this is an adventure game. I believe your goal is to go in and destroy satellites. This game has a save function, which is really cool. How's this look, by the way? Ah, shit, cock. Hold on. I've been hoisted by my own petard. There we go. There we go. Now you can read it. Alright. I can close this then. Hold on. I'll save some CPU. Alright. So this game is really cool. So you push the TV type switch up and down to display the status screen. Write down the entry code sequence. So that's that toggle is how you would change to the menu. And then there's scoring. And push select to begin changing codes. Right, so we may have to come back to this later. Okay. Alright, so let's go ahead and give the game a try. Hide that. Hide that. We're using Stella tonight. Play our games. Okay. Alright, here we go. So it's definitely a reminiscent of Zelda. And you have, Jesus Christ, he's fast. You have oxygen and energy that you need to keep filling up. The Rock Man. Some kind of little tune in the background. Oh, Jesus, that James. Okay. So we can't just run around with our sword out. We gotta be particular. Okay, what was this about? Some kind of code, I think. Oh god, I'm gonna fix the. Nope. Okay, so there's our thing. And I don't remember what these codes are for down here. Okay. I'm probably gonna die. Oh, I'm out of everything. Okay. 1350. So I don't remember what these are. Let's go back to the manual and check again. Why can't you see? Hold on. Could you not see that this whole time? God damn it, there it was. Okay. Alright, hold on. We're gonna... I don't know why that was on the wrong thing. I don't know why it looks like it's going so slow either. Alright, where is browser 2? Alright, so let's go back and look at this again. What do these two letters mean at the beginning? That might be difficulty. Oh, we're chugging right now. I don't know if this is a good idea. I don't know. For some reason, it's taking 30% of my fucking CPU right now. Why? Okay. Chunk-a-dunk-a-dunk. Okay, we might actually have to cut out. Hold on, let's close this, see if that's the problem. The CPU is spiking out of control right now. Where's Stella? Let's try another game here. Yep, back down to 11. Maybe that was the problem. Okay, we may have to cut out the PDFs. We'll try it one more time, but if it gets bad again like that, I don't know, man. Okay, so this is the code. Now what do we do? Okay. So now I think I can leave. Not too sure right now. Seems to affect how, like, if I'm moving. Oh, I have to match it here? Maybe that's it. No? A little confused here. Oops. Okay. Let's try one more time. See if this will still fuck up or not, if it was just something on my side. Okay. Destroy all 8 alien space stations. The secret orders receive list basics on how to destroy stations. Search through the rooms and find the self-destruct code on each level. Find the self-destruct mechanism and activate it by entering the secret self-destruct code. Race to the teleport room and escape the alien station before it explodes. The teleporter automatically sends you to the next station. Pick up weapons, other objects. Okay, so moving around. Finding using objects. Yeah. Okay, current station, current level. Okay, so that thing on the bottom is a re-entry code. Okay. To move to a different level through the station, use the stairs and sonic doors. We found the code. Codes on all levels. Station. Search for a room with a flashing horizontal bar. This room contains a self-destruct mechanism. When you enter this room, move to a constructor floor forward, display the code, or right or left to move between entry positions. Okay, so... Oh shit, I just closed the game, didn't I? Fuck. Okay. Maybe once more? Once more, huh? One more time. Okay, feel it. Gets stuck on the corners real easy. It's kind of fun how fast this game is. Like, it runs really well. That's always something you don't really expect the 2600. Like, it can't do much, but what it does pretty fucking fast. Okay. So we move it to that. Maybe not? I don't know. You should go look at the code again, see if it's changed. This potato, no. Here's a teleporter. God, he's gonna suck the air out of me. I'm dead. Okay, well, that was Secret Quest. Hopefully we can come back to it sometime. A really fun, interesting little Zelda-like kind of game before Zelda was even a thing. Alright, so let's move on to the next one. Which is, I believe, going to be... Let's do fast food. Fast food's a really fun one. Let's go ahead and take a look at fast food here. Okay, so this fast food. It's pretty zany. There are quite a few Atari games kind of in this game, the same art style. Kind of this surreal, I don't know, what would you call it? Avant-garde surrealism where they like focus on objects in the 90s, you know, like that kind of thing. But you're a giant mouth and you're floating around eating food. And I think that's it. We can go ahead and look at, hypothetically, we can look at the instructions real quick, but I don't think they're that in depth with this one. This is not a terribly complicated game. So there's our cover art again. Stuff yourself. Burgers, fries, shakes, pizzas flying at sub-gastronomical speeds. You and Mighty Mouth have to catch them if you can. The higher your calorie count, the better your score. The more calories you consume, the faster the food flies. But beware the purple pickles. Catch too many and your binge is over. No matter how much you eat, you'll never gain a pound. 1982. Get fatter. Consume as many calories as you can before you fill up get your fill of purple pickles and eat, and the snack bar closes. Oh, there's 2-player. That's cool. Yeah. Okay. So there's not a whole lot. It's not a terribly complicated game, but very fun and very, very stylized. It's definitely a game where, had it come out maybe 10 years later, it would have been a fucking hit. Easily. There we are. So you just move back and forth and you eat all the food you can. Oh god, oh my god, they're fast. The purple pickles are gonna get you. Not careful, it's probably actually a very dangerous spot to stand. Yeah, very basic, simple game. Very fun. You're getting fatter. Oh my gosh. Oh god. So fast. No. Burp. Closed. Oh man. That was fun. So 192 so far. Let's try it again. If you like this kind of thing, most of my research I did, one particular guy above most had a wonderful archive called the No Swears Gamer. And, Jesus Christ. Oh. He's done a lot of games. He likes to do... He has a thing where he tries to beat his high scores, and he keeps like a physical record of them. He's live streamed a few times. I've watched him play. I think he played like Space Invaders or Galaga, one of the two. You're getting fatter. Ah! I couldn't dodge it. I couldn't beat it. This is great though. This is a very fun little... It's very simple. Like, I feel like this could be a great like intro to programming on the 2600. That's another thing that's always been very interesting is how the 2600 functions. It's like, it's amazing what little space there is to do anything on it. Nonetheless, like, you can do some really just interesting, cool ideas with it. Like with the animation on the mouth, it's just fucking amazing for this thing. I think a lot of it they got away with, mostly because they started putting more chips into the cartridges themselves, so you could squeeze more into it, and then the cassettes would have been a big leap forward had those ever actually caught on, which they really didn't at that time. I haven't hit a single purple pickle yet. Getting fatter. I gotta eat. Gotta eat. Gotta eat, fuck. I need to stay. You want to stay on, like, the far right as much as possible. Jesus Christ. You see that thing go? Oh, Jesus. Getting fatter. I just completely dodged that. Whatever that was. Milk. Ah. F. F for fuck. It's the fuck sauce. Come back. Getting fatter. Oh no. 666. No, get away. Thank goodness. Oh. What was that? 711 325. Why is there two scores? 711. Oh, that was fun. That's fast food. That's definitely a real humdinger of a game. Alright, let's look at another one, shall we? Let's look at Fathom. Fathom's a fun one. So... this is a really interesting one to me. You know. I'm going to show you the box art for this, or the cartridge art. And it looks nothing like this. I have no idea where they're going with this. Oh, that's the mermaid. Okay, I get it now. I get it. It is on topic. Okay. So Fathom is this kind of pseudo-arcade adventure game thing where you control a seagull and a dolphin, and they're trying to help a mermaid get free. That seems to be the whole goal. Oh, I forgot I had an advertisement I wanted to show for fast food. We'll do that for this one so I don't forget. This is really cool. There's $1,000 in this, and it's like a coloring book here. Let me zoom in a little bit. can't zoom it. I'm not on the right thing. God damn it. There we go. What the hell does that say? I can't even read it. Hold on. The preview to me is too little. Let me look at it on my own. Ah, yes, thank you. I can't actually open, for whatever fucking reason, I can't open anything anymore. I think preview's just dead at this point. Okay, whatever. Just kind of a neat little like coloring book. That's a fun idea. I like that. So this is actually a pretty like chill game, pretty relaxing. So I think you got to go down first and collect seahorses. I forget how to... Okay, now we can move the bird. I think that's the... Ooh, a star. Yay. I don't remember what the stars are for. Okay, now we can move our bird around. Very slowly, I guess. Oh, I have to flap. Okay. I've got to flap my little birdie wings. That's what I got to do. Oh, God. So the really interesting thing, if I don't touch nothing, about this one is there's multiple screens for each of the aminals. Oh. I think we lost. Let's try again. So the dolphin's got these jellyfish and seaweed screens. And if you dive far enough down before I fucking die, like that. Jesus Christ. If you dive deep enough down, you'll actually see the mermaid down here. And she's stuck in like this glass box. There she is. See? And your goal, I think, is to get her out of there. I think that's the plan here. If I won't touching the fucking jellies. Oh my God. I'm good at this game. Get the star. Get the star. Get the star. No. Fuck. I get the star. Oh. So, it's a cute little game. You don't really see, like, kind of in the same vein of Echo the Dolphin, but you don't really see this kind of thing that much. What do we do with the star? Go down here. Star? Maybe. Maybe. No. Okay. We're exploding CPUs again. I don't know why. I guess doing this is just too much for the laptop to handle. Ah, I missed the fucking star. Give me the star, please. Oh my god. I can't get through that. Okay. There's another one. I think we can go back to meeting the dolphin again if we want to. I think. Yeah, we're now a dolphin again. Fuck, fuck, fuck. Getting weird pixel ghosting. At least on mine. I don't know what that's about. Maybe we've gone too far. You wouldn't think this thing would be pretty, like, memory intensive, but, well, you never know. Just kind of sit here and watch all the pretty seahorses and shit. This kind of reminds me of like a grizzly bear's movie called Deep Sea Diver. But yeah, that's Fathom. It's a very pretty, very relaxing game. Well, unless you're trying to actually win it, but you know what I mean. It's cool. And we're dropping frames. Oh, good. What are we dropping frames for? What's going on here? Okay. I think it's time we let that relax a little bit. I think it is Stella. Somehow, emulating these old-ass games is just too much. It is just too much. What a shame. Alright. So we're not doing Pac-Man tonight, but we are going to do a Pac-like. And this is Alien. And it's fairly bog standard for what you're getting here. I believe there are some interesting twists to the formula. But I think it's also mostly known to just be a better Pac-Man than what we got as the Pac-Man port. Oh yeah, can we shoot? What's this? Doesn't seem to affect them at all. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that is thing. I apparently only get 2 of those. Okay. Oh man, he's right on me. You fucking nerd. Ah, shit. Pac-Man's always fun. And the cool thing, one game we can actually look at later on at some point. 5701. There were several iterations of Pac-Man on the Atari 2600. There was Miss Pac-Man. Pac Jr. Like actually kind of came the closest to being honest to God Pac-Man. Whereas The original Pac-Man is kind of this bizarre, vomit-colored compromise. But in the interim, this was apparently a very, very good clone of Pac-Man. I don't know what that is. Guess we can go look at the instructions and see what that is. Is it invisibility? Is that what it is? Because he stopped chasing me. I think maybe it's like to scare him away. Maybe that's what it is. You get a little tool to save yourself from a bind. But you still die if you touch him. Damn it. Okay. Oh yeah, neat game. Very fun. Can't complain. Can't complain at all. And I'm probably going through some of these pretty quick, but it's like, you know what? We've already been at this an hour. I kind of want to get through the rest first. Alright, let us do Sorcerer's Apprentice. This one I'm going to get poo-pooed at, but you know what, whatever. This is a Disney game. There she is. You know, made for kids. It's actually kind of interesting. It's kind of fun, the whole mechanic here. There we go. So you've got two screens, and at the top you're shooting down meteors, and at the bottom the brooms are filling the hallway with water. So to get rid of the water, you get buckets from shooting the meteors down. So you've got to go run back and forth between these two screens constantly in order to keep the water down for as long as possible. Like the other ones, this one's pretty simple. But it seems to be a lot more fun once you start speeding up, you know. So you've got, let's see, how do we change the game modes? What is the button they want? Oh, there we go. Okay, so it's got 4 game modes. We'll start on 4 because that is the most basic. So we're trying to get these meteors here. Now, these guys are falling. I don't remember. It's a little bit like Space Invaders where they're chipping away at your defenses. But I don't remember what that does. If they actually get through. It may not actually do anything. You can kind of control where your little projectile's going, like a homing missile. So you can go down here, and there's the brooms. So you just have to catch the brooms before they get up there. So as far as I can tell, while you're down here, you're not losing your defenses up there. And while you're up there, but the brooms are coming through. So you have that little orange bar that hasn't moved yet. That's the brooms filling the room with water. Yeah, God's my witness. I don't remember what. I don't think it matters trying to collect the things that fall. I don't think. Like, they're chipping away, but it's like super slow. I'm not sure they're actually doing anything. You can arc it pretty far. Can't come back down though. Oh, see, the brooms are filling up now. Let's go get them. And out come the little bucket guys. And yeah, that's generally how we do things. So that's the gist of it. Why is this opening? Go away. Alright, so let's open it up again. It was on the wrong screen again. Fuck my ass. Oh, Stella, you're a bit of a bother here. You're a bit of a bug in me. Alright, so you heard what I said. I'm not going to repeat myself. Why is this off-center, like off-screen? That's kind of weird. It's like off-center. No. We want game 4. No, we want game 3. That's what we want. Is this capturing properly? Yeah, it's capturing. Okay. Now I'm paranoid. Okay. So this is supersonic. This is the fastest difficulty. And it's also the hardest to keep up with. Oh my god, the brooms. Okay, so we're out of buckets. We gotta go up and get more. So this is why I wanted to showcase this one. This one, it gets fucking frantic really fast. Like, I don't know if I'm hitting any meters. I don't know if I'm making it. Hurry, hurry, Mickey. I'm not gonna make it. Oh my god. It's like Tetris. After a certain point, you just, yeah. I always loved Fantasia. Crazy thing growing up as a kid was there weren't any real Mickey Mouse features, you know, in the 90s. There was a handful, but like most of them were like straight to VHS or on like cable, and if you didn't have cable or you didn't go to the movie the rental store, you know, you kind of missed that stuff. Get out of the way. So there was not really a whole lot, like, for me to watch as a kid involving Mickey Mouse. You know, he was just kind of like this off character for me. The two things I did see him in were Christmas Carol and Fantasia. So those were the two things I knew most, which were ironically weren't even from like my time period. But yeah, that's Sorcerer's Apprentice. It's very fun. It's very much a challenging game if you give it the chance to. All right, so let's go on to another one here. So we've done Secret Quest, Krull. We'll do another licensed one. This game's really cool. So this is based on a movie. I'm not sure how many people are aware of Krull the movie. It's kind of one I'm not too sure of myself. Here's the box art, which is behind the browser. There it is. Something about that boomerang is important. And then we can go and look at the instructions, because this one's a little more complicated than the other ones. Okay. So like Fathom, this is a game with a whole bunch of screens on it. There's a whole plot line here. Okay. Ah, fuck. Okay. Stop. Okay. You begin the game with the marriage of Colwyn and Lisa. Travel through the Iron Desert to the Widow's Cavern and end the game in the Black Fortress. So, the marriage to Lisa. Slayers interrupt the marriage of Colwyn and Lisa by storming over the castle walls. To protect Lisa, you must use your sword to eliminate Slayers. The faster the Slayers march, the more points you'll earn by stabbing them. Watch out for their neon spears. One touch means death. You have a limited time. Oh, wait, that's wrong. You go down here. Alright, Iron Desert, riding the Fine Mares. In the Iron Desert, you must pick up the glaive to fight the beast, as well as an extra life. You'll cross the Iron Desert on the back of a fire mare. To pick up glaives to extra lives, press your red controller button as the object passes beneath your lead mare. Okay. Widow in the web. Jump over the strands of webs to reach the cocoon located on top of the screen. You'll score points by jumping over the strands of the web for the first time you reach the cocoon. Strands of web is sticky. You can't jump if you're touching one of the strands. Oh, goodness. Excuse me. Oh. Have a limited amount of time to reach the cocoon. The hourglass on the top right of the screen counts down. The spider will rush towards you and take one of your lives. Alright, and then I think we just need to rescue the princess after that. Okay, so fairly straightforward, I think. We'll see. Let's give it a shot. I believe this game does not have a difficulty setting. Oh no. So how am I supposed to do that if I didn't see the glaive anywhere? Oh, oh, oh. Okay, I see. I have to go back for it. Oh, I can jump now? Okay, I see. How do I get up this question? Oh no! He fucking sprints. Ah. Dick. There we go. We'll use the glaive. Where does Warframe got the glaive from? No! Okay. So that's Krull. Very cool game. Kind of more of an adventure one. Again, a lot of screens, which helps that illusion. All right, let's kind of burn through these last couple here. Let's do Mega Mania. So Mega Mania is kind of the same vein of fast food. It's kind of psychedelic. And they seem to rebrand it here with a space nightmare. A bunch of weird objects like tires and burgers and dice are coming at you. Kind of like a Galaga kind of game, I think. Or Galaxian, you know. This one's kind of unforgiving, though. Like, you have to kill these things as they're coming across the top, because there's no way to get them if they come all the way to the bottom of the screen. Here come the burgers. Oh god, the burgers. Not the hamburger. Yeah, you see how this is... Yeah. This is tough. You gotta target... Gotta prioritize these ones that keep flying lower and lower. yeah, cool game. A lot of fun. We can look really briefly at one more thing here, which is it's like a window decal for it at the time. All right, let's go ahead and move on